Hello everyone, today I'm going to give you a brief introduction of Apache JMeter. I will also include installation of Apache JMeter, how do you install it, and then also go ahead on creating a thread group and demonstrate how you can utilize JMeter to do your performance testing. So coming to a brief overview of Apache JMeter, we can say that JMeter is an open source tool. I mean, by open source tool, I mean that it's a free tool. You can just go ahead and install and then start using it. It is actually a Java based application that runs on multiple platforms, supports testing of web application, FTP servers, databases, and more. And it has a very user friendly GUI and also support plugins if necessary. So today download the Apache JMeter first. Okay, I'll provide the link in the description and just click on the tgz or zip file. So once you click on the zip file, this folder will get downloaded. You can just extract that file. You can go to the bin folder and look for jmeter.bat file for Windows and jmeter.sh for Mac. Okay, once you go to the jmeter.bat file, this is the jmeter.bat file. Let's also check whether Java is installed in my machine. So just type java version and then you can see whether Java is installed. If it is installed, you can see it will display the version number. Okay, so this is the prerequisite. You need to have Java, and if nothing shows up when you type Java version, you can go ahead and download Java from the website. So okay, just type in the Google, just type download Java. Yeah, you need to make sure you click on the Windows, and based on your operating system you can choose to download whatever you want to. Okay, after you download, just install it, follow the command prompt, and it will help you to install Java in it. Okay, once you install it, yeah, go to this folder and then go to bin folder, search for jmeter.bat file. Okay, double click on that, start it up. When you open JMeter, this is the GUI of the JMeter. You will see a test plan and then start creating a thread group, and then probably we can create a basic URL and then try to perform a test onto others. So in the test plan you have, like, you can configure your name. We would say test plan, my test. You can create a description, demonstrate, perform. JMeter. You can give an user. I'll come to the user defined variable later. Okay. So let me start with creating a new thread group. Okay, this is where you can create a thread group. Thread group, like how many number of threads or users you want to execute a particular test. Ramp up period is something like how much time it will take to ramp up all the threads, and loop count is how much time you want to loop a particular thread. I'll demonstrate this as well. So let me create a new thread and go to sampler, http request. Okay, let me try a basic URL, or you can even try with jmeter.org also, not an issue. So since I do not have a path, I'll explain it later, like how you can use the path as well. Protocol, you can put it as HTTPS. Okay, for default port number for HTTPS is 443. You can just give the FQDN URL. That should be enough. And that's it. Here we go. website. And if you want to view the results, you can go to listener and then view results tree, and you can just execute it now. Let me save it. Okay, so here is our first test case. Okay, where you have sent a request and we have, you can also change for various regex. So I'll explain to this in the coming tutorial, but here we go. So let's demonstrate how we can use multiple threads. So for example, I'll put 2 threads. In the view results page, you will be seeing 2 requests. Okay, and if you want to find out what is the response time, what is the throughput, so you have to add another listener to it. Say for example, summary report. Okay, and then let me re-execute. So if you go to summary report, you can see, so for this request there are 2 samples, and this is the response time. Average is 70 milliseconds of the 2 requests, and what is the throughput, and received kilobyte per second, and how much, what was the packet size that was sent. Yeah, this is where we can test a very simple URL, and on the later tutorial I will also tell you like how we can test on complex website, right? So okay, and another thing I want to just talk to you regarding the test plane and the user defined variable. So here, user defined variable, suppose I do not want to put this name here and want to define it in test defined variable, and then just I will call that variable. You can just copy this, add, give it a value, and store it in a variable site. Okay, now just call site here. Here we go. Okay, this is to clear the logs. Okay, let me click it again, play. So you can still see the same request was being sent. So we define it here as a user defined variable, and then you can see the request there. And additionally, we can also configure as HTTP request default. So you can go to configure HTTP request default. So this means that suppose we don't define anything here, let me delete it. Okay, and here I can say that for all my requests the protocol should be HTTPS, and the URL is always JMeter. So you don't need to configure it here, like you can leave it blank, and by default this request will be sent. Okay, if you see that here, let me rerun it again. Yeah, till the same request is being sent. This is very essential, like wherever you want to set any URL as default, and where it is essential, suppose there are 2 URLs. Okay, just duplicate, I'll just duplicate it, and let me call it as sub URL, and I just give the path of any website. Say for example, I just will define this path here. Okay, yeah, see, this is sub URL and this URL. So here what is the advantage of request default is that you defined it once and the same URL will be used, and for any subsequent URL, if you want to add any new path, you can just add this path here and that can be called. So there are two requests for the same URL because we have put it thread group as 2. Okay, if I put the thread group as 1, then you just click on this button, then there will be one request for each. And let me explain you ramp up period as well. Like, so for example, like if I put it as 5 seconds, so and number of thread as 2, so it would take around 5 seconds to ramp up these 2 threads. Okay, we'll just wait. Yeah, this is the one. So it will take around 5 seconds to ramp up all the threads. And suppose you want to loop the same thread for 5 times, you can just do that. It will loop for 5 times. And if you want something to run forever, you can just click on this infinite and it will keep. So this will be used for any longevity testing if you want to. So just that's the end of introduction. I tried to make it very short and to the point. Please make sure you subscribe